What's going on, guys? This is Gainz Gaming. This is another part in our deadweight series. This is a 60 million power city that is quitting, and so we are going to go ahead and rally this city with Captain Yami once again with his amazing Attila Takeda. This is a Sun Tzu YSG. I don't believe that he has an expertise YSG, and so he is going to be zeroed pretty quickly. He actually does have an expertise YSG, so this makes it a little bit harder to get the swarm going, simply because you cannot just form all your troops in the back of his city. But he is taking some massive damage here from the rally. He is dying fairly quickly, so this swarm is going to be coming in fairly soon. Here we go. I'm going to go ahead with my siege because I want to kill that off as fast as possible. I got a pretty good teleport spot right next to his city, so we're going to go ahead and just start swarming this thing down. Already down to 53 million power, so he's going to die pretty quickly. And then we are going to be able to loot him pretty easily as well, since I'm right next to his city. So we're going to go ahead, and he's already down to 51 million power. He is dying real fast. And so, like I said, very low power city, so pretty easy to zero here. And we actually do have another deadweight that is conveniently right next to this, so it would be zeroing next. But first we're going to finish swarming the city down and finish looting as well, because he does have quite a bit of resources. So we are going to be looting him, we're going to be zeroing him. And so we'll take a look at the reports here, since he's pretty much zeroed already. We'll take a look at those reports, and then we'll jump right into the next city right next door. All right, so we will scroll down, we will jump right into the reports. So we can see right here, this is the rally report. So we have 1.2 million to 7.2 million, 164,000 dead for us, 1.37 million dead for him, plus a full hospital. Very quick zeroing here, already down below 1 million troops after that first rally. And then we have the swarm. So you can see here, the swarm goes down pretty quickly. I did take some AoE on some of these as well, because he is using Sun Tzu YSG, which actually is a pretty decent garrison because of how much AoE he does. And so you can see there, not much damage I got from the swarming, just because it was a pretty quick swarm. He didn't have many troops left. So we're gonna go ahead and loot this, and we'll jump right into the next city here. All right, here we go. So the next city, like I said, is right next door. So he has 3.9 million troops. He's a Richard Charles. And so this is 174,000 T5 infantry, 1 million T4 infantry, 900,000 T4 calves, 990,000 T4 archers, and 900,000 T4 siege. So tons of T4 here. Not many resources, but tons of troops. So 4 million troops. This one's going to take a little bit longer to zero, and especially swarm. Because swarming will definitely not feel very good on this kind of city, where it's literally all counterattack damage. You don't really want to be swarming this when it's high power. So we are going to go ahead. This is Yugo City that we are zeroing now, and so he has, like I said, 4 million troops here. So we're going to go ahead. We don't have to worry about any AoE here, just because he has a Richard and Charles, so no AoE. This is all counterattack damage, and so, like I said, don't have to worry about AoE whatsoever, which is really nice. And so we are able to surround the city pretty easily, and then just wait for the rally to do its work. He is below 60 million power now. So pretty insane to be 60 million power and have 4 million troops. And so his city is actually getting hurt a lot more to run into, simply because he has so many troops. Even if the tech isn't that good, if the gear isn't that good, it's going to hurt a lot more to run into, especially when swarming. And so this is something that should be held off on swarming as long as possible. Ideally, when he's at like 25% of his health left, that's when you want to start swarming. So if we were to swarm like right now, that'd be way too early because of how many troops he has. And he did have reinforcements before when he was in II, but we made sure we kicked him out, so he didn't have any reinforcements. And so now we are just waiting for this rally to do its work. This, in my opinion, is a very early swarm. I don't think people should be swarming here yet. You can see I throw that emoji out because people should not be swarming the city yet, because he still probably has 2 million troops in his city. And so this is something you want to wait a little bit longer on. Now that he's red, now I think you should be swarming. So this is when you want to start swarming, not when he's like just turning yellow. When he's starting to turn red, that's when you want to start to swarm, because now you can see the white numbers are a lot better for us and not taking as much damage. So we can take a look here at the reports. And once again, this should not be something that you start swarming right away. So we can see here our rally took 1.5 million power loss to 7.1 million, 200,000 dead troops to 1.2 million dead troops, and a full hospital of 405,000. And so we will scroll right out of here. And I do believe people are still swarming this. And so we're going to go take a look at that. So this is something that should definitely not be swarmed right now. I don't know why people are swarming this. Like I said, people are very swarm happy. He is down to 52 million power. So now we are going to jump into it. But when he is at still like 58 million power and has millions of troops in his city still, not something you really want to be swarming. And so ideally another rally would have been a lot better here. But we do want to make sure he doesn't log on and shield. And so that's when you kind of have to take into account, like, well, is it worth losing some more troops to make sure that we zero him? Or do we want to wait and potentially have him log on and shield and then not be able to zero him? And so that's something you have to take into account here. So he's down to 51 million power here now. So we are trying to get him as low as possible. We are going to fully zero him. And he actually logged on like an hour after this and then was freaking out in Kingdom chat about how he was zeroed wrongfully, even though he was warned to migrate or drop power. Because you can see here at 50 million power, 20 million kill points. He was at like 60 million power and 20 million kill points, or like below 20 million because he's gained kill points here. But yeah, so I don't know how he thought that was good contribution. Maybe he has a flawed view of what contribution should look like. But ideally, I think that the number most people talk about is like 10 times your power is what your kill point should be. So, I mean, I feel like that's kind of outdated because for me, I'm 78 million power. So that means that my kill points should be 780 million. My kill points are over 2 billion. And so it's kind of flawed. I feel like that's like before Season of Conquest. After Season of Conquest, it kind of comes up a lot faster. I'd say like ideally you want to be like 3 to 4 times your power. And so like right now I'm a little under 3 times my power and kill points. And so like probably between 2 to 4 times your power is what you want to be at for your kill points. And so making sure you understand what your contributions are. He did not hit his contributions whatsoever in KVK. I don't think he even showed up. I don't know if he even went to the Lost Kingdom from what I remember. And so this is why we're zeroing him. It was pretty convenient that they were right next to each other because we'd have to use more teleports. He's down to 47 million power now. You can see the troops surrounding him are pretty low in health. Like my 2 infantry marches here are pretty low. He's already up to 30 million kill points. So he's doubled his kill points here in this swarm, which is kind of funny. And you can see I'm taking some more damage here. I believe I did. Yep, I sent back some troops. I have 3 marches out right now. I have my Boudica, my Guan, and my Herald. And so all of which are yellow right now too. So when it comes to them getting lower in health, that's when you want to send them home. But like I said, we want to zero this guy as fast as possible without the possibility of him logging on and shielding. And so we are sending our troops back now since he is pretty much zeroed, already down below 45 million power. And so we are sending our troops back. He doesn't really have any resources, so there's not really any reason to loot him. But he is going to be fully zeroed here and actually be able to fit in his contribution. And so here is our next target in the deadweight video, which is Grey Wolf. And so we are going to be teleporting over here so that we have a good teleport spot. And then we were able to join Captain Yami's rally right here with some cavalry. And you can see I'm actually almost out of T5 cavalry. When I started this, I was at like 400,000, 500,000. Now I'm down to 200. So that's kind of worrisome, but we'll jump right into this next rally. All right, so we'll jump into this next rally. Unfortunately, this rally does not fill, which is really unfortunate. People are still over swarming that other city and taking its resources. So he has an Olgi Minamoto, which is a very interesting garrison. I don't think I've ever seen that before. But yeah, Olgi with Mina and not a full rally. So I believe we only got like 1.7 million troops in here, maybe even less than that. I can't exactly remember. We'll see when the rally report comes up. But like I said, people were still over swarming the city. He has a pretty big mix of T4, T3, T2, and T1. And so you can see the rally is getting kind of low, even on a 55 million power city. And so we are going to have to swarm this pretty early just to make sure this rally still stays above half health. And so 3.7 million troops isn't any joke. This is a pretty early swarm in my opinion. We do want to swarm it, but I think that was a little early. I believe I will be coming in here to swarm shortly here after Death by a Cup comes in. Then I go ahead and join. And like I said, you want to make sure that rally gets full, because you can see that rally is below half health. And so we'll see how many troops that rally actually had in there. And now the city's taking quite a bit more damage. Rally isn't taking as much because now we're getting that swarm going. And so now we finally have some players coming over. And then I put a marker here to wait for the next rally because we don't have the people to swarm this thing down. I don't want people to run into this city that has millions of troops still. We're going to take a look at this report. So you can see the swarm here as well. And then the rally report right here. So you can see 1.6 million troops. So we were short 800,000 troops in this rally. So the city actually had twice as many troops as we did, which is not good. That's definitely not what you want to have when you're rallying a city. So 218,000 dead troops versus 850,000 dead troops and 413,000 in the hospital. So still a decent report. Obviously would have been much, much better if we had a full rally. We probably would have killed over 1 million troops in this first rally. But we're going to go ahead and jump into the second rally. You can see Captain Yami launched another attack. We will finally have more people come over for this next rally as well. All right, so you can see right here, we do have a full rally, 2.4 million troops. He's down to 49.6 million troops left. A lot of people were wondering in our alliance chat why we aren't rallying him, or why we are rallying him and not swarming him. And it's because of how many troops he has left. Even though he has all low tier troops like T4 and below, they still hurt to swarm into. Even if it's 2.5 million T1 troops, it's going to hurt more than like 500,000 T5 troops. So people don't realize how many, like when troops are so like focused in one center, it takes a lot more to swarm into it. And so like if you think about like running into like a full rally in the field, it just destroys your march in seconds. And so that's one thing to take into account, is when it has tons of troops, it takes a lot more to run into. And so if you are trying to swarm into a city with 3 million like T3 troops, it's going to hurt a lot because it's still 3 million troops. Even though they're low tier, the city still has tons of health. And so that's why you want to make sure you rally stuff like this and don't just go swarm willy-nilly. And you can see he is actually still pretty low in kill points. I think he's doubled his kill points at this point with the rally and with these swarms. You can see my Herald did take the brunt of that last damage. Now my Boudica is taking the damage here with that Minamoto, doing some pretty high damage skill, but still going to be zeroed pretty quickly. And one thing that we did make a huge mistake on here is that he did not get kicked out of 47 II. And so I wasn't an officer in that alliance, but someone forgot to kick him out. And so he has all the buffs that our second like full tech alliance has. So this is hurting a lot more than it should. And so that's one other critical mistake that was made here, is that he has a full tech alliance of buffs that he's getting, plus he's on territory. And so he's getting tons of buffs here just by being in that alliance, and nobody kicked him out. And so that's one thing that definitely needs to be a priority when you're rallying somebody, especially if they're deadweight or quitting. Make sure you kick them out of the alliance first. That way they don't get all the buffs, and that way you don't hurt as bad when you are rallying that city. So we're gonna go ahead and finish this up with some siege. That way I can kill some of those off. And then we do have some resources here that we can loot as well, which is nice. Not a ton, but I mean my city is relatively close, so I'll be able to take some resources here. And you can see in the top, my resources are going up quite a bit. 1.4 billion food, 1.5 billion wood, almost 1 billion stone, and 1 billion gold. So resources are looking a lot better for this next KVK. Should be pretty fun to actually have enough resources to field fight long term. So it'll be fun to see what that looks like. Also be able to kill off some more troops as well. I believe at the end of all this, I'll be around like 74 million power by the time we finish zeroing all these dead weights. And so we can see some of these reports here, pretty decent, about 1 to 5 trades on some of them. The other ones where I'm tanking, not as good. We'll scroll down here to the rally report. So you can see 1.1 million to 5.8 million, much better report than the previous, where it was like 1.5 to 4.1 or whatever it was. And so this is 158,000 dead troops for us, 1.5 million dead troops for him, full hospital still. And so he is fully zeroed now. We can see some of these swarms here as well. Like I said, some of these I was tanking, and so they're not going to be as good. But still a pretty decent amount of kills that I got here from this city. And like I said, kicking him out of II would have been the way to go. because like I said before, he has tons more buffs that he should have if he was in no alliance. So all right, and here we have our last rally of the series. This is a lower power city. This is Gov BKB. I believe he quit the game as well, and so this one will go a lot quicker. We still have Captain Yami and his Attila Takeda coming here. 2.4 million, 47 million power, 73 million kill points, and so this one will go pretty quickly. He doesn't really have a good garrison either. He has Sun Tzu as his primary, and like I said before, 47 million power, only like 500,000 troops. So this is going to die pretty quickly. Sun Tzu and Martel. Ideally, you want to have that switched around, Martel, Sun Tzu. But definitely a pretty decent garrison. But I mean, low power like this, you're going to die pretty quickly. Plus, he doesn't have many troops left. I believe he was rallied at some point. I'm not sure who rallied him, but he must have healed his hospital because he has like just over 500,000 troops left, which would have been like what he would have had after KVK. So he might have been zeroed in KVK, healed his hospital, and then resumed playing and then quit the game. So that's what I would presume happened here. Like I said, this one died fairly quickly. We can check the report here. We can find the rally. So right here we have 271,000 to 2.4 million. So pretty easy to zero this guy. So full hospital, 164,000 dead troops. He had 700,000 troops to begin with. So not a whole lot to begin with, but died fairly quickly. The swarms were pretty quick as well. Obviously this took like a minute to zero him. So when you have low power like this, it's a lot easier to zero. So if you guys enjoyed this series, please drop a like and subscribe. Let me know what else you guys want to see, because this was a lot of fun to make. I really enjoyed editing these videos, doing the voiceovers, all that kind of stuff. If you guys want to see more stuff like this, drop a like and subscribe. And make sure you guys comment down below what other kind of videos you want to see. Thanks to everyone who is supporting all these videos here. Means a lot for the channel, making me grow a lot faster as well. So I appreciate every single one of you, all the new viewers here as well on the Gainz Gaming channel. So once again, thank you to each and every one of you for the love on this series, and I'll see you guys in the next video.